What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and happy anniversary, Zoe Quinn. The anniversary in which you stole $90,000 from the gaming community, never provided the product that you said you were, and have completely ignored your backers. On top of that, you led a campaign that pushed a indie game developer to take his own life, and many other accomplishments. And a friend of the channel, Sophia Narwitz, has put together a great article over on RT. You should absolutely follow SophNar0747 on Twitter. She's a great follow. So before I get into that, huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Domain. If you love trading card games or chess, check them out. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Domain. You know I love strategy card games, and over the past several months, I've been playing Domain. You can play the game without ever spending a penny. You earn cards through gameplay, or if you want, you can buy them. And you can actually trade cards, unlike most of our modern day big CCGs like Magic and Hearthstone. I miss that greatly. There's been a ton of new improvements, a new deck builder, a brand new UI, superior reconnection handling and loading times, 50 new cards, improved AI, rebalance cards, new abilities, and Discord tournaments. Get in there and play with me and with others. If you're looking for a new challenge, just enter thedomain.com. The link will be in the description below and in the pinned comment. Plus, they love hearing your feedback on how to make the game better, so don't hold back. Join their Discord. I look forward to playing a little Domain with you. Exactly 1 year ago today, a man ended himself because of because of, quote, feminist gaming activist Zoe Quinn. 2 years ago, 2,450 backers on her Kickstarter project got the last update on its status. This story is of her double anniversary. Now I'm going to link the full story. I'm not going to read the full story because I respect the work Sophia does. So you can read most of it, but you know, I've covered Zoe Quinn at length on this channel. A very well-connected, probably Webster's dictionary level of definition of a grifter, has worked with Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling has never said anything about the Kickstarter that raised $85,000 using Jim Sterling's name. He has not disavowed, nobody disavows Zoe Quinn because she wields an enormous amount of power, although it is shrinking. As I've previously reported on, game journalism has become under the iron fist of a clique which punishes wrong think. Anything counter to an increasingly extreme liberal left-wing narrative gets culled out at the root. Though, through multiple sources, I've been able to confirm the writers are afraid to share opinions which go against the grain, lest they lose writing opportunities with an ever-shrinking field. Do you ever notice how the same weirdos write for like every magazine? You see, what's her name? Several people were at Kotaku. Now they're at Wired. Schreier went from Kotaku to Bloomberg. Then most of these people then go to IGN. They all just bounce around. It's the same 10 people that have been writing the same 10 articles. This is why independent coverage like Sophia Narwitz and this particular Sophia has a YouTube channel as well. You should subscribe to, and to mine. You know, 40% of my viewers are unsubscribed, and I know that a lot of people just don't subscribe to channels. I get it. But if you want to make finding the videos easier, because YouTube is not promoting my content anymore, please consider hitting that subscribe button today. I digress. So, one such subject deemed off limits is anything involving Zoe Quinn, who sells herself as a big activist fighting online hate and harassment, which doesn't paint her in a positive light. As a source has revealed to me, they almost lost their job after publicly disagreeing with Quinn about something on social media. They were discussing a political hot topic. She didn't take too kindly to their perspective. She spoke up to management at the website where my source worked. This resulted in a stern talking to and an unspoken threat that their job was in peril if they continued to engage her. Not surprised one bit. The Long Con. This was a service launched by Zoe Quinn and fellow fame-hungry woke gaming activist Anita Sarkeesian. which would only last a couple of years. It was marketed as a support group for victims of online bad behavior, but former staff eventually came out and levied various allegations its way. Among those were complaints about lack of pay and an environment which made transgender staff feel taken advantage of, though perhaps the worst allegation was that the entire network was designed only to help those who were famous enough to elevate Zoe's name and status. As would be revealed in blogs and social media posts, average people who went to Crash Override Network for help were essentially denied service and sent a generic copy-pasted email. As they told it, only names which were well known will get personalized help. I have to say, I was shocked if I were a liar. For some of those who spoke up about whether they saw as a misguided project, online harassment became the norm. Zoe Quinn diehards rushed to her defense and relentlessly attacked until they deleted their posts or their social media accounts entirely. A hypocritical turn of events, to be sure, considering some of these were also vulnerable trans people, i.e. those Zoe was marketing herself as protecting. The Kickstarter failure. It shouldn't be lost that on anyone that Crash Override Network's acronym is con. And in many people's eyes, Quinn is quite the con artist. Consider her failed Kickstarter project. And look, Kickstarters fail all the time. It is, a high degree of failure. There is a high degree of failure, especially with brand new projects. Look how hard it was for me to maintain even exclusively games. I had a Kickstarter 7 years ago for a gaming matchmaker service that I thought was a great idea. That failed. So I'm really not gonna roast Zoe Quinn for failing on Kickstarter. It's better to try and fail than to sit back and just, rail on people who for being, for whatever reasons. But where she really fails is in accepting her failure. I made a very public statement, for example, about exclusively games as well as Game Finder. But it has now been years since Zoe Quinn has updated any of her backers. She kickstarted in the butt, or the game called Kickstarted in the Butt, a Chuck Tingle digital adventure, was a crowdfunding campaign launched on October 26, 2016. As per its pitch, Zoe was seeking $69,420 for a spicy video game based on the works of Chuck Tingle. At the time of its introduction to the world, it was claimed that the game was already a year into development and that it hit a February 2017 release window. Well, that didn't happen. Here we see happy 2-year anniversary. Zoe Quinn still has not updated backers to the whereabouts of her game. Would you care to comment? People gave you $85,000 and a Kickstarter backer comments reveal they want to know what's happening. Why the long silence? I know admitting failure is tough. And I think that, especially for Zoe Quinn, if she were to come out, she probably sees that as fuel for her haters. And it would be for some. But I would never roast her for trying something and failing. What it looks like is this is someone who's taking expensive vacations to Japan and not talking to backers, you could see. Likewise, Zoe Quinn, would you be willing to address the claims of misappropriation of Kickstarter funds? On August 30th, 2018, you claimed to have no money to finish the game, while also at the time vacationing in Japan. Kind of fishy, isn't it? I would agree with Sophia. It is kind of fishy. The title would go on to raise $85,000 for a total of 2,500 backers. Backers have yet to see anything materialize. So much for February. Comments left on the Kickstarter page show a contingent of people who are now frustrated not only by the lack of the game, but the absolute lack of new updates. Zoe has not addressed them in exactly 2 years. The last time she wrote to them was August 30th, 2018. A can of worms, and in and of itself, given how flimsy her excuse was. While literally vacationing in Japan, Zoe told people who'd given her $85,000 that she didn't have the money left to finish the game. Compare and contrast that claim to the fancy hotel room picture she was tweeting, making it worse that in the months prior, she tweeted multiple times about backing other people's Kickstarters. Call me crazy, but I don't think people lacking funds typically take lavish vacations or back other people's creative projects, but Quinn can walk away from blatant misdeeds unscathed because aiding her escape is a gaming press all too willing to turn a blind eye to wrongdoings. As should be evident by now, Zoe Quinn has been enabled by gaming media that allows her to act with impunity, something all the more clear on today of all days, for this marks exactly 1 year since Alec Holowaka took his own, or self-deleted because of her. On August 26th, 2019, Zoe Quinn lobbed a near decade-old claim for attention. She directed them at game developer Alec Holowaka. Almost immediately, the game press latched on, and before a guy could defend himself and share his side of the story, he was already a dead man walking. In an era of believe all women, he was presumed guilty, and within days, his game studio parted ways with him, and his life fell apart, a collapse which resulted in him taking his own life. Never forget this. Like, I understand, like, you know, I don't think that, you know, Zoe thought coming forward or sharing this, she couldn't be sure the effect it would have on him. I'm sure she thought about it as just a way to drum up interest in her own. But that's the point. Everything that Zoe Quinn has ever done has been for Zoe Quinn. Whether it's her Kickstarter, which stole $90,000, it's her, you know, drumming up claims, mobbing, costing Alec his life. And you can see the final paragraph saying, and again, read the whole article, her entire history is rife with manipulation and lies. Zoe has been able to scam herself into the public eye, and thanks to those she has watching her back, no one within the mainstream media ever holds her accountable. I have personally spoken to people who have at one time or another been within her vicinity, and the general consensus is you don't cross her, because if you do, it's a fast track to losing your career, or worse. Happy anniversary, Zoe. Make sure if you want to wish Zoe Quinn a happy anniversary, make sure that you leave a like and a comment on this video, so that everyone will remember. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.